Welcome to my office. We are going to get into Photoshop Basics lesson number 2, and we're going to move forward from what you learned with layers and now kind of jump into what brushes do and what some of the other tools in the toolbar do. So we're going to jump right in here to, I'm going to put my head up. Let's see right here. That's good. Okay, we're going to jump right into your layers panel. So imagine you've made a layer here. And as you know, you have a lot of things you can do throughout this, as you learned in that first tutorial. But what we're going to jump in with first here is what brushes are. So you have all of these tools over here, and one of those is the brush tool. The shortcut for that is B on your keyboard. I recommend memorizing that or having that little cheat sheet I gave you nearby because you're going to use this a lot. Now, the brush tool is dictated, first of all, in color by your chips. So that's why those chips are really important. And the chip that we're going to use for this, let's say, let's go with a blue here. So let's go with kind of a darker blue. And when you have that, you have some information up above. So the information above is what kind of brush it is, the kind of stroke or like softness, hardness, all that kind of stuff. Now, oftentimes you're going to want to use a soft brush that has a faded edge to it, so it's going to allow you for some softer cuts. A hard brush is going to have that really hard edge, and I'll show you the difference here. So if we go with a soft brush, soft round, and I paint that. Now if you want to make your cursor bigger, of course, remember you can go up to this drop down and go to the size, or I really recommend you use your keyboard, and it's those little bracket keys. So I'm going to paint across. All right, so notice with this one, it's that soft brush and it has that faded effect around the outside. Now let's switch it over to the hard brush. So if I go to the hard brush, hard round here, and I paint that, notice it's very thick all the way to the edge. So depending on what you want to do, you're going to use kind of either one. I would say most of the time I'm using that soft brush. But you'll also notice, just to kind of go back to what you've learned already, that those are both painted on this layer. So depending on what you're doing, you want to be aware of how that brush affects your palette. Now, of course, we can do a lot of the things we've learned in that first tutorial. We can use, for instance, a shape. We can mark that shape. And then here's a new skill. Once we've created that shape here, and it can be any shape, we can actually move what is inside that shape. So we've made those marching ants. We've used that marquee tool. And if we go up to this move tool, I can actually grab this and notice it moves away from that and it actually cuts it out of that area. So that's really convenient if you're duplicating something or you need to move something from a space. I'm going to do Control Z to undo that. Control D deselects that. And again, we can do that with any of these different selection tools. Now, a tool I didn't show you last time but might be helpful to know is the lasso tool is also a selection tool, but you can kind of freehand make shapes. So I can go around and it makes the shape. Now, I can, of course, move that again. If I go up to my move tool, I can move this around. Again, that's really helpful for different shapes. But here's kind of a fun part of that. So let's say you have your lasso tool and I want to select this area of the shape for some reason. And that's good. But let's say I want to add a little bit more because I want to get a little bit more interesting with what I'm selecting. I can hold down Shift and you'll see that little plus that appeared next to my cursor. If I now go like this, it creates another shape. Now check this out. If I go to the move tool and I move those, ooh. So notice I can like select multiple things at once, which is kind of cool. Now, here's where that gets even better. And this will happen a lot in what you're doing is, let's say I select this area and I want to add more selection to that. And I'm like, dang it, how do I add more to that? I'm going to hold down Shift again. And instead of doing it outside of it, I can actually add onto this. And it'll basically merge those shapes. And then I can adjust that or move that, whatever I want to do. Now, here's what's also fun with that. I can actually remove space as well. So if I hold down Alt, you'll see a minus comes up. So Alt is usually like go against. Shift is like add to. So just as you start working with Photoshop, those are two defaults that you always want to kind of have in the back of your head because it's like, If it's Alt, it's probably I'm doing the opposite of. If it's Shift, I'm adding to whatever tool it is. So here's where that's maybe more like sensible. So let's say we brush something. We use our B button to select the brush. And let's say I have a full covered palette. Now, of course, you knew from yesterday and you probably said, well, why didn't you just use the bucket tool? I could, but I just, wanted to show you the brush again. So I have a fully colored layer here, but let's say I want to make like a Pac-Man looking thing. So I go with my elliptical marquee tool. I start making a circle, but it's not quite a circle. So I can hold down Shift. Hopefully you remember that. And it makes a perfect circle. And now what I can do though, is I can start making a second circle. Whoops. There we go. I first have to hold down Alt, and that's negative space. And then if I want to even it out, check this out, Shift, even though I'm doing Shift and Alt, it makes a perfect circle because I first pushed Alt. There we go. And then I get this like moon picture. It's not quite Pac-Man, but this moon picture. So that then allows me to have this like perfect selection there of kind of this moon shape where I used one to make a negative selection and the other before that was the full selection. All right, there's a couple things. Now here's where it gets fun. Let's say I want to keep this little moon shape. Right now, if I push like delete, it's gonna get rid of that. And I'm like, dang it, I want that area. So what do I do? Well, of course, with any selection, I could go up to select and I could say, well, what options are there here? For instance, I can make it bigger with grow. I could say, let's make that really big. That was too big. I could also do similar things if I want similar like areas. I can also expand and say I want to expand like 5 pixels, and that just makes it kind of bigger. You'll use that a lot actually. The other thing I could do though is I could say actually, let's select the inverse. And now it looks like nothing really changed if you really quickly saw that, but you'll notice the marching ants are actually outside here. And since the marching ants are outside here and the marching ants are here, I know that actually this outside area is selected. So now if I push delete, what do you know? Control D deselects. And now I have this kind of fun moon shape that I could move around and use as my moon shape if I wanted to. I'm going to do Control Z, bring that back. Here's a faster way to do that. So if you're like, okay, I have the moon shape selected, but I want to select the opposite. If I do Control I on the keyboard, that did the inverse of the color. So let me undo that. If I do Control Shift I, there we go, Control Shift I, that's now selecting that inverse again. I push delete. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. I'm not sure what Control I did. It makes the inverse, I guess, but I was kind of surprised about that. So that's the selection tool. That's more fun with the selection tool. Now there's so much stuff to learn about the selection tool, so you'll keep learning about that. One of the most powerful parts, and the one that you'll use oftentimes, is actually this object selection tool or the quick selection tool. But we're gonna get to that when we actually get to a photo. All right. We're also going to look at the crop tool when we get to a photo, so we're not going to worry about that yet. We're also not going to worry about boxes. Okay, here's a fun one that we'll also use when we get to a picture. So a lot of these, they don't really matter until you get to a picture, but I will stop on this one. This is a text tool, so a type tool, I think it's technically called, but it defaults to the horizontal type tool. And what you do is you left click and you drag, and it makes a text box. This is probably really easy because you're probably like, yeah, I've seen this in like every different application ever. Just to show you it though, because you're gonna want to use this a lot, it throws in some like fake Latin in there. So that way you kind of know what your box looks like here. So I then have options up at the top. So I have my font, I have what kind of the look to it is. So if we go to a normal font, not the bold font, which is one I loaded, but let's go to like the classic Times New Roman. Ooh. Okay, here's Times New Roman. Now, notice I have now multiple options here. I can do an italics, Times New Roman. I can do bold, italic. I can do bold. I can change the font size. So I'm just holding up on my keyboard to increase that, the up arrow. I can also hold the down arrow to decrease that. And you have to make sure everything's selected there. I can also change the look of it. This is crisp. This is smooth. I don't think any of you will probably get to that level of detail with your font, but just so you know it's there. If I want to change the color of my font, right now it's white. I can go up to this little color chip and change it to, let's go with yellow is a nice contrast to blue. So there we go. Yellow. There we go. There. And then I can also do this warp text. Now right now it's like you're not doing anything. So you click this down arrow and you can do like an arc. So you might do that in some instances. I don't know. It looks kind of funny. But you can change the bend there. You can do a fish, which I've never done a fish, but ooh, funny. Okay, so anyway, there's a lot of options here. You can look at them all, and that's super fun, I guess. But anyway, that's one of the options up here. You can do a 3D kind of rendering, but you won't really do that, I don't think. One thing though with text that will make your design stand out more is when you actually adjust the spacing between the letters and the sentences. So let's imagine this is a little bit bigger. So right now, let's go the whole way. Notice it adds that like Latin text to the whole thing. I'm going to change all of that color to yellow. There we go. So it's all yellow. And right now it's a little bit funny looking with that spacing. So check this out. This is kind of nice. Once you select it all, over on the right, you have different options. So you have your font size, but then you also have this ability to adjust the kerning between the letters. And what that means is like the spaces between the letters. So check this out. If I go like this, I guess it won't let me go that way at all. So interestingly, always fun to do these tutorials, right? It won't let me adjust the kerning between the two characters. And I think that's only if I do this. That might be the case. Like, but you know, anyway, I don't know what's going on with that one. This one is the one you're going to use a lot though. This one that says VA. And check out what this does. So if I click on this and I go up or down, you get it tighter in there or more spread out. Typically it's nice to tighten it up. That's how I usually end up using it. And then this one's super nice. So if we select it all, this guy right here, if I select this one and I'm using my down arrows, this is what's going to make your font look more professional when you do it. When you can tighten it or spread it however you want to. So you're actually creating more opportunities for maybe tightening up your text or placing it how you want to place that. So text is something you'll use in a lot of like posters, graphics, things we do for the graphic design part of this class. So just to show you how that works there. Now, the fun thing, of course, is you can always, double click this and you can change your colors and everything. If you change the size, so let's say you're like, I want to change how big this font is. Notice if I try to pull the side of that box, it doesn't actually change the size of the font. So you would have to go up into the font size. However, if you're done with your text and you're like, I think it looks really good, but I want to adjust it as an image in Photoshop because text is an image. It's not the same thing. What you can do is right click on the text and say, I want to rasterize the type. What rasterizing is doing is basically saying, I'm going to make this thing. So usually it's font, but it can be other things that you'll find out as we go through class. I want to make that just a flat image that I can then adjust. So watch this. If I rasterize it, now you'll notice that T went away. And this is all now an image, which I accidentally grabbed. There we go. This is all now one single image. You cannot type more on there. But what you can do is now you can actually adjust the size of it by double clicking. Let me get the right thing here. I can do Control T to resize. And now notice I can resize all of that text. However, I cannot change it. I cannot do anything else to it. But this just gives you more options when oftentimes you'll want to treat this as an image. More on that later. That's starting to get maybe too advanced, but just so you understand that. That's the type tool. There's also kind of different path selections, that kind of thing. But I think that's a really nice start. The last thing I'll say that's a really nice tool at the bottom to use is this hand tool. That's shortcut H, or in Photoshop, if you hold down spacebar, it'll do the same thing. And then when you depress your left mouse button, it actually allows you to move the screen around. All right, that's the end of this tutorial. Just showing you some new tools there. Definitely you want to get down that type tool, and of course the brush tools and all that kind of stuff. That's a pretty simple one. For our next tutorial, we're actually going to get a picture. You have a headshot of yourself. So that's the one we're going to use to start playing around with, is that headshot that you hopefully have. If you don't have it yet, grab a headshot of yourself and you can use that for the next thing here. See you then.